Hello there. My apologies. We couldn't get the camera working. We're going straight to Facebook. That means we've got one camera, and I hope that you can hear me. Please come back. Okay, one person is back. Please let us know.
Eric Myers. Eric, can you hear us?
Erica,
can you hear us? Sorry.
okay. And I see that the troops are gathering. Better, yay, excellent. Thank you, all clear.
Yay!
It sounds beautiful, thank you. You know what is so ironic? I did a test today, and everything, of course, was working perfectly, which is why I was very calm about starting again. Okay, so for those of you who just came on to watch this video, you're wondering why we're talking about this, when I should be talking about the topic of the show, which is spirituality, a help or a hindrance, in whatever I said, building a better world. And we lost a bunch of people because it wasn't working technically. But we're back, and that's live. That's TV, right? Live. Okay, so we are back, and we are with you, and we will continue with what we've got.
And this is Granny Rocks Our World with that message.
Oh, healing, yes. That's what it was. Spirituality, help or hindrance to healing our world. Thank you for reminding me. So
Amy.
Erica says better, Simone says all clear, Amy says sounds beautiful, and she reminded me that the words are healing. Okay, so James was just introducing us, and this is Grow, Granny Rocks Our World. I won't do a whole other introduction. We will eliminate the other video and hope that people find themselves. And hi, Helen and Richard are back as well. Thank you. So what an odd topic. Spirituality, a help or a hindrance in healing our world. But, let's think about what spirituality is for a moment. Spirituality is about connecting to something bigger than ourselves. It's, recognizing, it could be that feeling that you have when you go out at night and you see the stars and you see the dark, the universe, and you just love it. And, or it can be something that you feel when you're in the forest, or it can be something that you feel when you're with a loved one. Or for some people, it's in a religious organization that they feel their spirituality, or when you're meditating or chanting, you feel some connection to something above and beyond yourself. So since so much of what the healing of our planet is all about is finally getting that we are connected, you would think that automatically spirituality would be a help to our healing, wouldn't you?
One would think.
One would,
If one would
wouldn't
think.
one? But see, here's the problem. There's a lot of different versions of spirituality. And what does that mean? It could be that you just have this feeling, or you have some spiritual beliefs, but let's say you get into some kind of competitive spiritual thing, like my organization is better than your organization. And
my faith is better than your faith.
My faith is better than your faith. So are we really feeling the connection to everything now, or are we beginning to feel separation and competition? So how does that heal our world? If the healing of our world, when you think about, let's say you have a wound, you know what healing is? It's like it's the coming together of the pieces that have been torn asunder, and we try to bring them together, and that is how things heal, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So it's like our world needs to heal because we need to come together and start caring about one another. And I always have a lot to say about that, but I don't want to get into that right now. So when you have that feeling of spirituality, you feel the connection to everything, and it's automatic to start caring. You care about the birds and the butterflies and the plants and the trees. And I care, and love to you too. And so that it's just automatic that you feel your connection to things, and you just automatically become more caring. Now, supposing you're in a spiritual belief system that says we're the only way. Like, okay, I was raised Jewish. Tracy and Anna, hello. Let's say I was brought up in the Jewish religion, and we were, the chosen people. Some people say that's a good thing. Some people say that was a bad thing. but like we were the first monotheists, so that makes us special. And a lot of Jewish people have very particular ways of doing things, and that make them feel separate and different from everybody else. And that's something that I understand very well, because they were persecuted people and they wanted to preserve their identity. Now the Christians say, oh, through Jesus you will be saved. So there's a lot of people that think you can't get to God except through the Son. Well, so that means that all these other billions of people who are not Christians have no relationship with God. Okay. Now, let's say you're a Muslim and you say, Allah was the last prophet, although he recognizes
Muhammad.
the other way. I mean, Muhammad, thank you. It's the last prophet, although they recognize that other Judeo-Christian religions led up to them. But then what about the Buddhists and then the Hindus and so on? So then immediately, what are we finding? That spiritual beliefs, when they're put into a context of doctrine and identity, they're no longer healing when they become your identity, as opposed to being a human identity. It's no different from, in a funny way, if you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or a libertarian or a green or whatever it is, if you still remember that you are a human being first and that you are a participant in that party, then that becomes your identity, is as human being, as a member of the human race, as a part of America or whatever. But then when you get really polarized and it's like saying, well, I belong to this group and I don't belong to that group, and now we're tearing asunder. Well, it's the same thing. So spirituality can be very damaging in that way. And I'll tell you another way that spirituality can be damaging. Spirituality can be damaging when it creates feelings of guilt and shame. Many of us were brought up with spiritual beliefs, which actually increased our alienation from ourselves and one another. And then we also had judgments about everybody else who wasn't doing our exact thing, in our exact way. So we're no good because we're shame-based, because we've done something wrong, because of original sin, or because of God knows what. Adam and Eve ate the apple, and or I had a sexual feeling and I masturbated in the crib, and it's all over. So then we start to turn against ourselves. Well, how can we heal our world when we hate ourselves, or we're walking around with that with all of that guilt? So that's another way in which spiritual belief systems can actually turn us against ourselves, and then they can turn us against one another. So what is healing about that? And then when we use it, and this is kind of related to all of this, when we use our spirituality as a way to separate from others, almost deliberately, to put ourselves on some kind of a pedestal. Will I hear the voice of God? Well, it just so happens I do hear the voice of God. So what can I say? But it doesn't make me anything. It just means that, I have blown out eardrums. What can I tell you? Or maybe you do too, or maybe you see it, or maybe you feel it in the chi or whatever. But let's say you get into that and you say, well, I'm better because I can talk to the masters of the universe. That makes me so much better.
So what?
So much better. So much better. Or I know the minutia of something. Well, do you know that blah, 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 something you read somewhere? So what are we going to do, guys? I want to return spirituality to spirituality and take it away from the ego, which is really all wrapped up in separation, in comparison, and saying I'm better than you, and making ourselves different and polarizing. That's what the ego does. So the ego is hijacking our spirituality. So what I'd like to do right now, even though you won't probably be able to see me if I roll back there and do a LifeForce, although we could try.
We could try.
I know we're 2 minutes over, but we were 5 minutes behind or so because we had this little problem here in getting started with our technology. But I can lead us in a LifeForce right here.
Great.
Where I'm not going to move, and I want us to go open our hearts to the healing that spirituality can bring us. Because what spirituality can bring us is a sense of peace. Even though, you're going to try to move me. Okay, here we go. James, am I going to go all the way back? So now you see the microphone?
Yeah, I'll adjust the microphone.
But honey, they won't be able to hear me. That's
Well,
why
move
we
the
don't do
microphone
that.
over here.
Then the cameras will.
Oh,
be
yeah,
there.
yeah. Well,
Okay, thank you, but could you
this
just
is a
move me back?
very strong microphone. Move it
Okay,
closer.
well, maybe. All right.
Can you hear her?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. What I really, they're not even answering. So I hope you can hear me. So what I'm saying to you is spirituality can be a part of the healing because it connects us to something greater than ourselves. And it brings us peace. And they hear me, right?
Just
Oh,
fine.
Just fine. All right. Yay. So let's push back and push back and push back so you can actually see my feet. And I want us to start achieving a sense of wholeness with our spirituality, of connection with everyone, of love, and feel how that will change the way that we relate to everything. So that's what this Life Force very briefly will be dedicated to. Those of you who know the drill, just follow me. The sounds, the words, the movement, the breathing. Beat on your chest like Tarzan. Did you dare make this sound? Now I want you to clap your hands in front of you and raise your legs. Bring your hands to your heart. Breathe in through your mouth. Oh, trudging, marching, lift up your knees. Not just to the floor, just lift up your knees and drop them. And could you pull down the screen for the comments so we can make sure that people are really hearing. Okay. Ah! 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 Make a fist and I want you to lift your feet by bending your ankles up. Now pull that energy down. Ah! 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 Relax your body. Spirituality means, and I'd like you to repeat these words. Spirituality means I can hear you cry.
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 Bring your hand back. Bring your hand back. Bring it to your heart. Spirituality means I can hear the leaves sigh.
Spirituality means I can hear the leaves sigh.
Spirituality means I embrace you.
Spirituality means I embrace you.
And I embrace me.
And I embrace me.
Thank you for joining me and sweet baby James tonight and for going through the mayhem of our first live video. I really appreciate your support. This worked. I'm thrilled.
All's well.
All's well. I love you. And I will see you on Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Please like and share this video.
See you then.
Bye.
See you next time.